So today we're going to talk about maximizing your LinkedIn profile. This is something that I see very often when I'm on LinkedIn and looking at other people's accounts, because sometimes people are missing a few tricks. So I just thought it would be appropriate to share some of those hints and tips to maximizing your profile. And ultimately, I'm not saying you'll never change this, but sort of do it once right and it'll be there and it'll serve you well. Now, for those of you that are avid viewers, you know that once a month I do a webinar with a special guest, and this month is no exception. Because of my holidays, it's going to be a week later, as it were, but that doesn't matter, right? On the 20th of September, we will be going live with the fantastic marketeer, Timia Katter, and she is going to be talking all about the customer journey, which I'm going to suggest some of you haven't mapped out in detail, and Timia is going to give you a fantastic presentation all about how to maximize your customer's journey with you. So please put that in the diary, 12:30 on the 20th of September, to come and join Timia and I. Right, with no further ado, let's dive into this so you get what you want out of this video. How to maximize, and when you see me looking down, it's because I have made some notes to make sure that I don't miss anything. So how to maximize your LinkedIn profile. What I want you to try and think about is that your profile on LinkedIn is a little bit like your business card. It's a little bit like your website. It's definitely another version of your CV. And, now more than ever, it's another point of reference where people check you out. So having a full LinkedIn profile is extremely important. And I don't think LinkedIn is the be all and end all, right? But the reason why I'm sort of stressing that it's important is because if someone is going to check you out and verify who you are before they engage with you for a service, this may be one of the things that they look at. They'll look at your website, perhaps, right? But generally, if not the first place they look, the second place they look will be on your LinkedIn profile. So if you haven't filled it all out, what impression are you going to give to the viewer? Well, it's not going to be as good as a fully filled out profile, right? People want to do their own research, so give them the facts for them to do a proper job. All right, so that for me is why it's important to maximize your LinkedIn profile. And I think really it's sort of becoming an icon, if you like. I mean, that word's overused, right? For sort of social proof. People can go on there and they can look into the minutiae and they can see who else is interacting with you. And if they are of good social standing, as it were, within the business community, then that gives you gravitas as well, right? So think about it as like one massive testimonial, if you like, right? So let's dive into some of the sort of details. Make sure that your profile settings are set to public. Otherwise, people aren't going to be able to see the details within your profile. Take some time to look through all of the privacy settings and choose which ones you want turned on and which ones you want turned off. I'll let you into a little bit of background here. So when I do my monthly webinars with a guest, I go onto the events page and I invite all of my contacts to look at the page and hopefully click that they will attend. And what I noticed was when I went through the list, there was the same number of connections which I was unable to invite. And I thought it was a glitch in the matrix, right? I thought it was a bug. So I contacted LinkedIn, and it was because those people have actually selected that they don't want to be invited to join events. So they will never see any notification about events from me or from anyone else. It wasn't particularly for me, right? So you may or may not be aware of your privacy settings. So that's the first sort of thing I'd suggest. Go into your profile on your main page, go into settings and privacy and have a look and make sure that they're set up for what you want. Use a professional profile photo. It's a professional network. Most of us are on there because we want to sell a product or a service. So use a professional, and when I say professional photo, I don't necessarily mean it's taken by a professional, but a professional headshot would be the best thing to use. Try not to use sort of like a casual I'm on holiday shot is what I'd recommend. Create a professional banner across the top of your page. Maybe highlight the product or service that you sell, or in my instance, I highlight the fact that I do these webinars every Tuesday. So use that space. It's there. It's free. I mean, you can create something on Canva for it if you're a Canva person, or you can get something professionally designed. But you just need to do this once, if you like, and it's there and it's set for you. So a nice banner and a nice profile picture in conjunction. I'd say test them out though, right? Because sometimes you can fill out your banner as you're looking at it on the left-hand side with some text, but when people look at your profile picture just covers that left-hand corner. So just make sure in the setup that you allow for that. Write a full, it's called the headline, right? If you go into your profile settings, there's a line there that says headline. And that headline is what follows you everywhere on LinkedIn. It's the little bit of a descriptor that attaches to your profile. So when you go on and comment on somebody else's post, it's what everyone else gets to see as a little snippet. If anything, this is the most important part of your profile on LinkedIn because it says a little bit about you, okay? And everywhere you go and every time you comment or interact, that little nugget is left there for everybody to see, okay? So spend some time pulling out a real full profile. Don't just say business owner, right? Don't just sort of be generic with what you put in this. Actually sort of give the feature and benefit, use a USP, say something that you want to be left with potential customers. All right, it's called the headline. Make sure it's fully filled out. Within your profile now, you can add a link. So if you have a website, add your website link now to your profile page. You can also change your pronouns. He, she, him, her, and there is a custom facility as well if you wanted to have a custom pronoun. Is your industry set to the correct industry? So that's, again, from a drop-down menu, it's something you can select. Make sure that you're sort of industry relevant. Now, there's a couple of newish features which you can only access through the mobile app. So this is really important. You can't do this on your desktop at the moment. So the first one is a little video profile within your profile photo. So like I say, you must go onto your mobile app to be able to do this. You can film up to a 30-second video with audio, and that will populate behind your profile photo. So when people land on your page, the little video will auto run and it runs up to 30 seconds. It's a really good way of introducing yourself and introducing your products and services. There's also a little audio icon that appears on your profile page, and this allows you to, it's meant to be there to help with pronunciation of your name. That's the whole point of it being there. However, it's 10 seconds long. So if you know, I've recorded something on there and I've said that my name's Miles, not Giles, right? But you know, you can express how your name is pronounced, but then you've definitely got like 6-7 seconds to be able to maybe describe again a product or a service that you offer. So utilize all of that time. All right. If you've got a business page, or if you haven't set up a business page, I would urge you to set up a business page. I haven't got a business page, right? And the main reason for that is that it's hard enough to keep up, one profile, if you like, but I am my business, as it were. So my personal LinkedIn is my business. So I've felt it was reasonably unnecessary actually to do an additional page. Maybe when I'm further down the road and I feel like I want to expand into a business page and I've got the time to maintain it, perhaps I will. But if you're part of a larger organization, I would make sure that you do set up a company page for your company and make sure that you update it on a regular basis. Now, here's one: creator mode. Now, if you are a creator, you won't be able to do LinkedIn Lives unless you've got creator mode turned on. I mean, as a person on LinkedIn, you can post to LinkedIn. That's not regarded as being a sort of creator. But if you want to do audio events, if you want to do LinkedIn Lives, then you will need creator mode turned on. Now, one of the drawbacks, is it a drawback? I'm not so sure. One of the default settings is when you turn creator mode on, when people come onto your profile to connect with you, the default mode is to follow, not to connect. So if you're not worried about going live or doing audio events, then I would keep your creator mode turned off, as that will enable you to build your connections, like the two-way connections, up versus people just following you. Okay, I know you can follow them back, but that's just one of the differences. Make sure that you've detailed your services. Like I said at the start, like this is a CV. So yes, like it's all about you, but have an objective look at the way in which you set things out. Does your do the products and services on your services section really reflect what you offer? Maybe you wrote them a little while ago. And even as I'm saying this now, I'm thinking, maybe I need to go back and have a look at those, right? Because perhaps I wrote them a little while ago and maybe my products and services have evolved or changed. So look at perhaps refresh. Maybe that's another thing you should do. Look at refreshing your profile on a reasonably regular basis and be a little bit, what's the word? Critical. You can also pin posts to the top of your page. So let's say that you've got a successful post or a post that you're proud of or that you did a collaboration with. You can pin that to the top of your profile. So when people come on and actually look at your profile page, it'll be there right at the very top. Make sure that you have filled out your about section fully. Again, like, I'm not going to go through every single sort of stage of your profile, but go through it methodically and fill it out as much as you can. You can't, I mean, there'll be restrictions on the amount of words you can use in its entirety, but they're very generous, right? Make sure that you fill it up. Think about it like this. Although you want to be succinct in what you write so that the reader understands and gets to know exactly what it is that you're trying to get across or offering, they're also there because they're interested in you. So give them the content to be able to absorb. And I think one of the last things I'd say is that if you're thinking about using maybe LinkedIn Sales Navigator, or you want to understand where you sit in terms of your profile and your activity on LinkedIn, then have a look at your SSI score. This is your sales index score, and it's made up of I think it's 4 sort of categories, and that may who cares about a score, right? But it'll show you where you are in your industry and how active you are. But more to the point, it shows you perhaps where you need to up your game in terms of having a better presence on LinkedIn. All right, so if you've got Sales Navigator, the SSI score is one of the drop-down menus there. If not, just Google my SSI and you can find that quite easily. Okay, so there we are for this pre-recorded LinkedIn Live. I really hope that when I schedule it, it actually works. Like I say, if you have any questions, stick them in the chat. I'll review them when I get home later, or you can drop me a WhatsApp and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So just to sum up, make sure if you're on LinkedIn and you want it to work for you, that you have properly maximized your profile by filling in as much as either you can or that you want online. You know, things like I didn't mention this, but things like your contacts. Make sure you've got an email in there, right? So that people can actually get in touch with you. Think about it as another touch point, another way, an extra website, if you like, for people to get in touch. The amount of people now that reach out through LinkedIn direct message is getting more and more every day, every week, right? So make sure there's enough on your page to explain the products and services that you offer.